We're coming from Hebrews, the 13th chapter and the 8th verse. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't we didn't run out of ink. We didn't run out of slideshow. That was exactly what we wanted to preach about today. Amen? Come on, read it with me. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Amen, amen, amen. I just want to preach for a few minutes on the subject, the more things change, the more they stay the same. More things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes, sir.
God has blessed me enough to I'm a part of an organization, and we talk about kind of current events, some of the things that are going on in today's society. During our last discussion, we were talking about inequities related to salaries. And in that discussion, there was we were reviewing some resumes and some credentials of some upper-level executives. And as they were looking at what range to offer the different folks, but what I noticed and what many of my colleagues noticed is that the females seem to be offered much less than their male counterparts, even with the same educational background, even with the same level of experience. The only thing that seemed to be in common was the fact that the females were the females and the males were the males. This wasn't 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. This was last Thursday. Right. The more things change, and the more they stay the same. I had the pleasure of looking at some artwork, and Kendall, I was looking at it. Looked like it was a kind of protest police versus the community painting, and I thought it was wonderful that the artists, the stuff they're able to do with modern technology, and I thought that they had taken a picture from some riots in the 60s. I thought it was amazing how they were able to put color to it and make it look like it was stuff that was happening now. Then in the bottom right-hand corner, where it says who the artist was, it also had a date. And the date was not 1960 or 1950 or 1918. The date was 2016. Just stop by here to tell you the more things change, the more they stay the same. Even in our churches, hello somebody. Even in our churches, some of the politics that we play. One would think that we've grown up past that point in our religious lives. But some same stuff that we're hearing today is the same stuff that my great-grandmother was hearing 30 and 40 years ago. Just really stop by here to tell you the more things change, the more they stay the same. I thought by now that us that claim to be preachers of the gospel would grow a backbone enough that we would take a stand on at least one thing, and that one thing is that we serve a risen Savior. And He's in the world today. But many of us, you wouldn't know we were preachers unless we had the bumper sticker on the back of the car. You wouldn't know that we even knew the Lord unless we took off a shirt and you saw a collar. I stopped by to tell you that's not a new phenomenon. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Can I give you just a word of advice? If you've been blessed enough to have some, I think we call them seasoned saints. We used to call them senior saints. But I'm told that word is offensive, so I'll say seasoned saints in your midst. I would absolutely advise you to go talk to them and gain some of their wisdom because they might know some stuff that only experience can teach. Some stuff that might not be in the books. I'm talking about some stuff that only experience can teach. I didn't know that my great-grandmother was going to be with us today, and but I had such a moment on November 9th, 2016. You all remember that? November 9th, 2016. That was the day after the election. Okay. The day after the election. And if I was to be honest with you, I had all kind of emotion. I was mad and sad and confused and perplexed and didn't know what the future would hold. And I was trying to hold it together for some other folks. And I got a call from my great grandmother, and what she said was, though the president has changed, the king has not.
All right. Yes.
Though the president has changed, the king has not. She walked me through some experiences that would suggest this ain't the first time something this crazy has happened. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It probably won't be the last time something this crazy has happened. But I would encourage you, using the same words that she encouraged me, though the president has changed, the king has not. In other words, she was just telling me the more things change, and the more they stay the same. Listen, I found some interesting facts about our human communication. We're going to preach in a minute. Right now we're just talking. But I found out, you all heard the term hieroglyphics? Come on, somebody talk to me. You all ever heard the term hieroglyphics? Tell me, hieroglyphics was one of the first forms of written communication. And watch this evolution. After hieroglyphics, they came up with a letter system, A, B, C, D. Then they put those letters together to make words, and they put those words together to make sentences. They put the sentences together to make paragraphs. And eventually somebody decided that this is a good way to communicate to other folks, Kendall. So they would write letters. No, we don't do that no more. But they would write letters to people in different places. And somebody determined that method was good, but it took too long. And then a gentleman by the name of Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. And after the telephone was invented, the telephone allowed you to talk in real time with somebody in a different place. But we decided that was not quite fast enough, so there's a gentleman by the name of Martin Cooper who invented the cell phone. Because the telephone was good, but you were attached by that little cord. You all know you couldn't go too far because of the cord. So Martin Cooper said, I got an idea where you can talk and move and be doing whatever else you got to do. But around 1992, this gentleman by the name of Neil Papworth designed the first text message. The text message took the technology of the phone and the cell phone and combined that with the old school logic of written communication. And in 1999, a Japanese inventor, I can't pronounce his name, he's just got a whole bunch of letters. He invented, Tracy, what's called emojis.
Okay.
And emojis are pictures.
All right now. Yeah. Come on.
In the beginning, we were communicating with pictures. And all of this stuff. And we came back to now using emojis, which is essentially the same thing that we started with a long time ago. I just want to use that as an example that the more things change, and the more they stay the same. There's a couple passages in the Bible, as I read them, they really got my attention around this topic. In Genesis, the 17th chapter, we find this gentleman by the name of Abraham. And he was married to a young lady by the name of Sarah. And God told them that they would have a child. There's only one problem. Abraham was 100 years old. And Sarah was 90. And they both asked God, are you sure? You must have forgotten that we are no longer physically able to perform those kinds of activities. But I can hear God saying, you must have forgotten. And just 16 chapters ago, I said, let there be light. And light appeared. So if I can do that, what makes you think I can't do this? I'm still sitting awfully quiet, but before we get too hard on Abraham and Sarah, I just wonder if God has spoken anything like that into any of our lives in here. And we acted the same way Abraham and Sarah did. We laughed and said, you must be talking about somebody else. Yeah, God has deposited something in you, and God has given you some marching orders. God has impregnated you with some ideas and some ministries. But instead of doing exactly what God said do, just because he's God and not worried about all the other stuff in your mind about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who's going to be there when it happens, I'm not sure this is physically possible. I dare you just trust God enough to know that he's been God for a long time. He spoke into space and made stuff exist. I'm just trying to tell you, the more things change,
The more they stay the same.
yeah, the more they stay the same. I've got one more example. Maybe you can get with this one a little better. You all remember Thomas? Thomas was one of the 12 disciples. And Thomas had seen with his own eyes. He'd seen Jesus hanging on a cross. And after all of that had happened, his friends, the other disciples came and said, wait a minute, Thomas, we got something you won't believe. We saw him for ourselves. And he's still alive.
Yeah.
Thomas said, you all must be drinking, you all must be tripping, because I saw him die with my own eyes. And you mean to tell me that now all of a sudden that he's still alive? I'll tell you what, the only way I'll believe it is if I see him for myself. Then he went on to say, it's not even good enough just for me to see him for myself. I need to put my finger in the hole in his hand. He said, I need to put my hand in the hole in his side. He said, then and only then will I believe. But I wonder if anybody in here knows that ain't, if you can see it, that ain't really about belief. That's using your senses and the facts to make an assertion. But I'm not sure the assertion. Is that a real word, assertion?
Yes, it is.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
But he was, if you're using facts, then you're not using faith.
Come on.
I'm talking to anybody.
In time.
Yeah. And I can see Thomas now telling him, no, I saw what I saw. But I can also hear Jesus saying, didn't I tell you that if they destroy this temple, that in 3 days,
Come on.
3 days I'll raise it up.
Right.
And before we get too hard on Thomas, I just wanted to remind you that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Some of us in this room, unless we see it, we don't believe it.
Right.
Yeah, God has spoken some things into your life. God has given you some marching orders, but because you don't see how, and you don't see how it's making sense, you don't see what the next step would be, you don't see how it's possible. But my word says, with God, all things are possible. I just came to remind you that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I got some good news for you. Jesus said, I'm the same yesterday, today,
Come on.
and forever.
Right.
That all by itself, that just, if we just stop right there, that ought to make somebody in this room happy. He said, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. Listen, let me try to tie this all together. I know somebody in this room has been struggling, and you don't see how it's all going to come together. Somebody knows that by the end of this week, there'll be still a whole lot of week left at the end of the money. And you don't really know how you're going to make all this stuff happen. But can I remind you that this same Jesus that we're talking about fed 5,000 with 2 fish. And 5 loaves of bread. And I stopped by to tell you that if he can do it then, that he can still do it now. Because we serve the same. This ain't a new character. This is the same one that's been on the scene since way back when. I just came to tell you that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I know somebody in this room feels like the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Yeah.
But I'm reminded in the Bible, there's a young lady in Luke around the 13th chapter who had been bent over for 18 years. 18 years, there's been weight on her back. She couldn't move. Every time she got up, the weight was still there. Yeah, but it only took one touch. It only took one touch. They didn't have to have a sit-down meeting. It wasn't a voting process. It just took one touch. And after that one touch, she was able to stand back up straight. Somebody in this room is struggling and you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But the same Jesus that touched her is available to touch you. I know that because the word said he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And because he's no respecter of person, if he did it for her, then he'll do it. He'll do it for you. Listen. Somebody in here is struggling with just issues.
Well,
Issues. I don't know what it. I can't tell you what it is that's between you and God, but what you discover is you can't shake it.
come on.
You can't outrun it. Yeah, you can't prescribe it away. Yeah, perhaps it's a physical illness, maybe it's financial struggles, maybe it's depression, maybe it's drug addiction, maybe it's alcoholism, maybe it's unhealthy relationships. But the Bible reminds me of this woman who had her own issue. Tell me it was an issue of blood.
Well,
And she had it for 12 years. 12 long years. Every day when she got up, it was there. No matter what she did, it was there. No matter what doctor she went to, it was still there. She couldn't shake it. But she made it her business. And to get close enough to Jesus. She didn't even have to touch him personally. She just touched the thing that he was wearing. She touched the hem of his garment. Yeah, and she was made whole. I stopped by here to tell somebody if you can just get close enough. Yeah, because he's the same God. He's the same one that was healing folks back then. He's the same Jesus that's all she had to do was touch it. So that's all she had to do was touch him.
Right.
Stop by here to tell you that's all you got to do is touch him. Yeah, and I can say that with a great deal of confidence and sincerity because my word says that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever.
come on.
Just trying to get you to understand that the more things change, the more things stay the same. Maybe none of that stuff got your attention. But maybe somebody's job has been declared dead. Maybe somebody's home life has been taken off of life support.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe somebody's marriage has seemingly flatlined.
Well,
I've got some good news for you. Before you walk away from the cemetery and determine that this is it, there is no tomorrow, I want to remind you of a man named Lazarus. Lazarus was already declared dead. Matter of fact, he was dead and stinking by then. Amen. But a man named Jesus stopped by. And he just called his name. And Lazarus got up. I don't know who I'm talking to, but somebody might be in a dead space in your life right now. And I just came by to tell you that if he did it then, he can do it again because my Bible says that Jesus is the same yesterday, and today, and forevermore. I'm just telling you that the more things change and the more they stay the same. I want to put a pin right here. Our position has changed. Our situation has changed. But the good news is that in order to navigate anything, you got to have something that's constant. That constant in most of these situations happens to be Jesus the Christ, the one that got up and the one that died for your sins and got up on the third day. I came to tell you that he loves you enough that he said, I'm going to stay right here until this whole thing is over, because the more things change, the more they stay the same. And they stay the same because he's the same God. And no, you don't feel like it, but I dare you to look back at your last crisis. Yeah, the last one. And you all remember the fact that he brought you through it? He brought you through it because he's the same. I know you don't feel like it, but I dare you go back to that one thing that was supposed to take you out.
well,
Yeah, I know you don't want to, but I dare you to go back to when you thought this was it. Now, I dare you to think about this fact, since we're dealing in facts. You still here.
well, come on.
I dare you to think about the fact that he's still a miracle working God.
Yes, he is.
I dare you to think about the fact that he's always making a way. Dare you think about the fact that he still is in the business of answering prayers. Now, since you know all of that to be true, I dare you to go into a praise fit. I'm not talking about a little Peter patter. I'm talking about when you can open your mouth and tell him thank you for all the ways you made. When you can tell him thank you for all the doors you opened. When you can tell him thank you for being all the things that I needed you to be. Thank you for being consistent. And I know you're consistent because you said that you're the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Really, I can take my seat and sit down right there. I'm just so glad that he's consistent. That's more than we can say about most of us. The one thing that I love about him is that he's consistent. And if he did it last time, then I have no reason to doubt that he can do it this time. The more things change, the more they stay the same. There's many stories in the Bible that you can go to that will relate to just this passage, but I think the Bible was designed for you to take what's happening there and apply them to your life right now.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
it'll just be a book on the shelf. But somebody said it's a book that you can apply stuff to right now.
Right
And
now.
since I can apply stuff to it right now,
Real time.
I'm so glad that he's still a healer. I'm so glad that he's still a way maker. I'm so glad that he's still a door opener. I'm so glad that he's still a doctor. I'm so glad that he's still a lawyer. I'm so glad that he's still a comforter. I'm so glad that he's still a company keeper. I'm so glad he's still a way in. And for other folks, he's a way out. And for other folks, he's a way over. And for other folks, he's a way through. I'm so glad that when I need food, he can feed me when I'm starving. I'm so glad that still, even right now when I'm thirsty, he can be my water. I'm so glad that he's still my protector. I'm so glad that he's still a provider. I'm so glad that he's everything I need. Because the word says the more things change, the more they stay the same. He's been doing all this. Ain't no new business for Jesus. Jesus has been a way maker for a long time. He's just waiting on us to catch up in our ideology to understand that he can do exceeding and abundantly above all we can ask for. I'm just so glad that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Listen, tell somebody time is filled with swift transition.
Yeah.
Not on earth unmoved can stand. The song says, build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. The second verse says, trust in him who will not leave you. Whatsoever years may bring, if by earthly friends forsaken, still more closely to him cling. Somebody ought to remember this verse. It says, covet not this world's vain riches that so rapidly lead to decay. Seek to gain the heavenly treasures. They will never pass away. But the last verse, we all need to know this one by heart. It says, when your journey is completed, if to God you have been true, fair and bright your home in glory, for your enraptured soul will view. The course says, it just tells you to hold to his hand. Hold to God's unchanging hand. Somebody didn't hear that. Come on, tell your neighbor to hold to his hand. Hold to God's unchanging hand. I got a bit of advice for you. The song says, build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to his hand. Yeah, some of us have been building our hopes on stuff down here. Somebody been building your hopes on your bank account. Somebody been building their hopes on their job. Somebody been building their hopes on their spouse. Somebody's been building their hopes on a whole bunch of stuff here. But the word says everything else will pass away. Yeah, but the word of God will remain forever. Jesus said, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. Come on, give somebody a high five and say, I'm so glad I serve a constant Savior. Come on, tell them I'm so glad that I serve a consistent Savior. Don't tell somebody I'm so glad. So glad that the more things
Change.
and the more they stay the same.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
So we got a couple of invitations to extend. But we want to encourage you, even if you don't accept the invitation, more concerned that you remember that whatever you're going through next, he's already fixed it before. If he did it last time,
He'll do it again.
then he can do it next time. That there's nothing that he can't do. As a matter of fact, we used to sing a song, Grandma, that said he's never failed me yet.
Yes.
I know we've had some controversy over that song because by using the word yet, it implies